This is Dr. El-Hawary. I'm going to present to you today Adobe InDesign introduction. We're going to go through a very introductory simple tools within InDesign. So first time when you launch InDesign, you will find a 2 or 3 windows that's opening to you. So the first one here asks you to get a quick start using the browser. At this case, when you go to the browser, it will take you through a different designs using an online browser, and this is requiring a genuine InDesign account. Where if we go at the bottom here, you're gonna find the quick start options, which we having here a printing options such as A4, A5, A3, and so on. You will find iPad Pro, and this is for a digital desktop publishing. You will find the web tab here where actually you can create your own website using InDesign. Great. So to start with opening a new file, you have 3 options to open a new file. The first one is going to new. Once we click on a new file, it will take us straight on to the legacy system where we actually can download or we can open a new file. Second option here where we can go to file, new, and then document. Where the third option here, if you use Control N on your keyboard for Windows or using Command N for your Mac. At this case, 3 of them opening a new window for you or create a new file for you. Great. When we go to the files here, we have a different tabs. The first tab here are the recent project that you've been working with. So I'm having here 4 projects I've been working with already. Second tab here is if you have any saved options within your InDesign, and I'm going to show you this in a minute. Third tab here if you're going to print a media. So this is mainly for printed media. So let's say for example I'm designing a leaflet or flyers or a booklet using InDesign. At this case I'm having here my printed presets, and actually I can get more of those presets if I wish to. Also here InDesign gives you more options where you can actually get one of those created magazine or a booklet, and you can just edit the booklet itself, which I believe is a great option for beginners to start with. Go into the web here. If I'm trying to create a web page, so in this case I will get a desktop publishing, or I'm going to get my booklet online using the website. Last but not least here, this is designed for mobile phones or iPads. So in this case, you can get a different interfaces for your mobile phones and your iPad Pro. Usually when we work with InDesign, we use the printed as the start with, and then we take our trip or take our next step using the web or your mobile app after. So going to your print. So those are mainly for the printed media. Now when we go to the print here, we never go and just click OK. No, we just go to view all presets, and we need to make sure what kind of size we're using for our booklet. So to start with, you're gonna find here at the bottom there is a preview button. You need to make sure of clicking this as it shows. Here we go. Great. So going to the next point here. So let's say for example I'm going to design an A5 booklet. A5, so 1 page equal A5, 2 pages equal A4. As we know, A5 is smaller than A4 or half the size of A4. So InDesign gives you this already option, is already here. But if we're creating a random document, then we need to change the height and the width of the document as we desire. So let's start. Going to the first option here, going to your A5. First of all, I'm going to rename my document. So in this case, I'm going to call it a book. Or let's call it booklet. Once we've done with this, the measurements of the A5 is already given to us by InDesign. So in this case, I don't need to change any of those 2 settings. Now make sure when you work with InDesign, you work with millimeters, not centimeters, neither pixels. So I'm just using here millimeters all the time. Now, if you look at the back here, you're not going to find any changes done while you're working in your page until you go to the next options. So the first option here tells you what you want it to have. Do you want it to be a portrait or do you want it to be a landscape? So landscape is sideways, which is again horizontally, and the portrait is a vertical layout. Now usually when we design a booklet, we use it as a vertical, we use the vertical options at this case. So in here it tells us after how many pages you want within your InDesign. Now if I'm putting here, for example, let's say I'm having 10 pages in my InDesign, clicking somewhere around, you will find the 10 pages have been created already within your InDesign on the side. Now if you don't wish to have it as a facing pages, so you need all of them to be a single page within the booklet, at this case I will untick facing page. Now at my case, I'm gonna keep it facing pages. Now as you see here, the beginning page and the end of those pages, those are all single pages. If you need to start with a double or even pages, at this case I'm going here to start from number 2 or from page number 2. Well, now when we look here, you're gonna find all of them now are double pages. Now going to work with the columns. What are columns used for? Columns are used mainly to again re-add your images or adding your images in a specific way or managing your space within your page. Now in our case we're going to keep it as one column, but usually when we go more professional with InDesign, we're going to create multi-columns. At this case I can put my image and I get my text around my image. For my case I'm just going to keep it as one column for now. Now getting to the column gutter here, those are the space or the area where all your documents or all your details of your documents will be placed. So now if I minimize this, you will find here that the columns or the difference between columns, two columns, is getting neater. So if I'm going up, you will find the space getting wider. Now let's stick to one column as it is, and we're gonna go to the margins after. Now as you see here in InDesign, you have two types of margins. You have a margins and you have a bleeding. The difference between them are the safe space within our page. So let's say for example I'm printing in a bigger printer and I would like to get a outside of my page that is white and I'm going to cut it manually. So in this case I will deal with the bleeding. Now if I'm just using a normal printer as we must do it, or most days we do at home, at this case I will deal only with margins, so I will ignore bleeding and slug. So in this case I'm going to my margins and I'm minimizing the margins to keep it to 5 mil. 5 mil mean half centimeter all around my page. So when I'm printing out, anything outside those half centimeters are probably not going to be printed. So those we use it to add tables here right in the middle of my booklet if I wish to in the future when I'm assembling my booklet. Great. Once we've done with those details, I can simply go to the top of my list and save this preset. So I'm going to call it here my booklet. So in this case, this is my booklet template. I can save this preset. And anytime I would like to get this preset without going back again and forth to InDesign, I can go to my Save tab right here in the top and you will find my booklet being placed over here. If you'd like to do any changes, simply you can change whatever measurements you want and then resave again your document. If you wish to delete one of your saved template, simply you need to click over it and you're gonna find a bin right in the top corner. Then click on it and your preset will be deleted from your InDesign. Please notice that once you delete it, you cannot get it back again to InDesign. Thank you very much for your attention and I will see you in the next version.